What is up, winning team? Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about something I just got in the post because I am well excited, you guys, because we're doing bigger and better. We're preparing to get the hell out of here and the hell out of the wilderness. And as such, for a while, I have wanted to upgrade my Bible. Well, I say upgrade. It's not really an upgrade, actually. To be honest, my Bible before was actually better than this one, in my opinion. Well, we'll see. But I'm going to talk about why I got a new Bible in this video before I get into my videos of today, because I feel like there's just a lot to think about here in terms of always progressing with the Lord. You know what I mean? We've always got to be moving forward. And so I've been obviously praying to God about a lot of things and, well, a lot of things, you know, and asking for a lot of things. One of which is like, you guys know, I'm like, God, where do we go? The way this AI stuff is going down, these digital IDs, all this stuff coming out about how degenerate and just predatorial peoples is being, the state of the world. I'm going to talk about a lot of this stuff today. I'm like, I need to get out of here. Listen, the way my life has been, the life I've lived, I just want to leave it behind me. Like, I just feel like it's one of those things where I just need a fresh start in life. Like, as in, I can't change the damage caused, you know, I can't change the person I've become as a result. What I can do is I can give, like, God can give me a fresh start to like, okay, let's just remove all of that, because I do feel like for a lot of us, and it all goes back to the Egypt, wilderness, promised land story arc of the Bible, right? Where, you know, when you start out in Egypt and you know, may not, I feel like that's been my life. It's like I was born in Egypt, kind of. No, I was born in the wilderness. I was born in the wilderness, right? Coming from generations that came from Egypt, that God actually brought out of Egypt. And then having to come to terms with, oh, this is so annoying. But I should have known this time of day. Hold on. Coming to terms with the fact that, it's funny because there's no sunlight just now. And I've gone to all this effort to put my lights up just for anyway. And, you know, for us to go through all these, we're like born in the wilderness. And obviously when the people of Egypt came to the wilderness, and this is how I see the world right now, and especially the body of Christ. It's like there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of old traditions. There's a lot of old religion. There's a lot of just things that are being done that we don't really know where they originated from, but we're following them like they're part of the gospel. Okay? And some of those things are the things that are actually holding us back from reaching the fullness of what God has for us. One of those things, in the most part, that I talk about a lot is being so dependent on the world systems versus God systems, which is what I really feel like God was trying to change between the people of Egypt. The people when they left Egypt, his people when they left Egypt, he's like, okay, you're used to living in that system. You're listening to be a slave. You're used to being a slave in Egypt, which I feel like as my job as a teacher, I feel like I'm working for the kingdom of darkness. This is why it stresses me out a lot. Because I really feel like I'm working for the devil. Like, I can't describe to you guys. I love a hard day's work. I've got a lot of energy. And honestly, I like to be distracted anyway. So it's not about working, actually. It's about the job itself. And I just hate knowing that I'm working for the kingdom of darkness and I just need to get out. Having said that, right, you know, so that was like Egypt, the dependence on the world, like living in the world systems. And God's desire was always for us to live with him. And this is why I get so frustrated about so many things, because I'm like, this life we're living is literally not the life that God had in store for us. And we know that because of Adam and Eve. And we know that because of Adam and Eve, he was like, you can choose the life where you guys follow your own wisdom and see where that sends you, or you can trust in me and see where that sends you, right? Which side are you going to trust? So that's where I feel like where we're at. And that's why I feel like so much of what we've been doing, even on here, like on my channel, has been just like picking apart. And we're still going, guys. There's just so much, like, it's actually, I've been getting to the point every day where I have so many things I need to talk about, so many topics, so many religions, so many things in the world. There's just not enough time. And I don't know how I'm supposed to articulate everything that needs to be said. All I can tell you, we are so far off the right track, you know, which is again what sin actually means in Hebrew, chet, to veer off the right path, to miss the mark, to lose focus, right? I feel like we're so off the point. There's so much redirection that needs to happen. And that's what overwhelms me, because I'm like, God, how are you going to redirect all of this stuff in time for us to get the freaking heck out of the world, be very safe and protected in our own world in the promised land before things get extreme in the world? Because I'm very cautious of that. And that's another thing I don't really respect about Christians and a lot of people, and just the adult population in general, people are so scared of thinking about the worst case scenario that they just don't think about it. And my thinking is like, it's going to be so annoying if anything bad, super bad really does happen, because people aren't going to be ready, because everyone's just ignoring it. And so we're all going to panic. And I'm like, it's like the phrase, failure to plan is planning to fail. Or like I like to say to the kids, I say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Right? That's how I look at preparing them for exams. I'm like, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Don't prepare for your exam on the day that, like, assuming that everything's going to go exactly how you want. You're going to wake up and have your breakfast at this exact time and get to your exam at exactly this time. You're going to spend exactly this amount of minutes on each question, because if you have that thing in your head and then things don't go exactly as you thought they were going to go, it's going to throw you off all entirely. If you go in and you're like, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm also prepared for the worst. I'm prepared for if things don't go my way. I'm prepared for if this, you're going to be able to handle the situation calmly, right? That's why myself, I don't stress in exams. Things where I've got to like do things, I'm like, I do the preparation ahead of time so that when things go down. So this is why I'm like, I'm past the point where I can do much more on my own. So I'm trying to find the things that I can do to at least align myself with the life I'm praying for. And one of those is getting rid of the past. Getting rid of the past habits, past behaviors, past ways of thinking, but especially reminders of the past. I will never forget when I went to Italy last year. You guys remember I said, I think I arrived on Saturday. On Saturday. And then I went to church on Sunday. And if you guys remember, I was like, I'm so excited to go to this church service. I just know it's going to be good. Because like, I don't know, every time I get there, it's like the message was for me. Like the year before I went, the pastor was all like, you got to know that you're on with a winning team. The message today is that you're on the winning team. I'm thinking, I'm in an Argentinian church in Italy, in Italian, being told about how I'm on the winning team. And these people don't even know me. And that just happened and I was just like, that's so cool. And then last year, obviously, and this is what the preacher was talking about. He was saying how, like, you need to, this is what I'm saying, guys. I know I come for the church. There's a lot of people I do respect. I'm just trying to get us to like get rid of the past. That's why I focus a lot on like, we need to remove this thinking, because there's so many layers. That's why I said this is also overwhelming when there's just so many layers of how far away we are from where we're supposed to be. So I'm just like overwhelmed trying to like, and it's true, like it's crazy how people, come to you and they'll be like, they'll be trying to nitpick at every little tiny thing you're saying because they're so used to it. So like, for example, the purgatory aspect. I did a video about how purgatory is not a thing. And I haven't responded to this comment, which I really need to. And people try to be like, purgatory, and you hear it. I can, like when people comment, I can hear the sound of their spirits, right? As in like, I can hear where the like intention is coming from. And I can feel and I can see that it's like, you're just so attached to the things of the past. You're so attached to the things of the past because it was tradition, because it was religion, because it's just what we were doing, that you can't actually be confronted with the truth and change for the better, even though the Bible literally says we will be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So over time, we're going to learn that, that thing that maybe I thought all these years, I was wrong. You guys see me do that all the time. In fact, that happens to me frequently. I very frequently, like, I'll be here, like some of the videos I make now, I already disagree with some of the ways I conducted myself in videos from 6 months ago. And the reason why I leave all of the stuff up is, for the most part, is because it's a journey. That's the point. We're supposed to be on a journey where we learn and we grow and we take specific steps to aid in said growth and to make sure that we're not just falling into habits or traditions or religion. It actually has nothing to do with God, or just staying where we feel exactly comfortable. So like for me, my previous Bible, I remember the day I went to buy it, so well. I walked into Waterstones when I was living in London and I was all young. Like, this is why I don't like it, because I remember the exact feeling I had, and I don't relate to that girl anymore. Like, just being young and hopeful and ignorant. But it was a good choice, because I walked into Waterstones and I was like, Holy Spirit, please tell me which Bible I should get. Like, which Bible should I get? So then I went to the Bible section because I wanted to pick it out in person. Like, I prefer to do things in person. This is, again, why I'm not really for this worldly stuff. I hate doing stuff online. Now all the kids' stuff as well in the schools, everything's on friggin' line. And it's so annoying. Like, I hate it. I hate it. So I've gone in and then I spotted my Bible and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to get this Bible. Like, I could just feel like I should get it. And let me tell you, me and that Bible, we were like cellmates. Like, that's the only way I could perfectly describe what it feels like. like the person that was with me through the trenches, like, and I feel like that level of degree of like connection because of all the nights, all the days I would be crying tears, the time when I read through the entire Bible, all the different notes I wrote, like underlining myself, my scriptures and all of this, you know, and like in a way it's really great, you know, because I would go back and I'd see, oh, you know, I've underlined this scripture. I can't believe I mentioned this, but like I started to feel over time, especially as I started to explore my own other translations and stuff for myself. Again, once I've moved away from hearing what the book, because a lot of Christians, and this is going to become really sad, I'm going to talk about Kai Cenat today. And a lot of Christians, you know, they're hell-bent on like things like, you can only read the King James Version, you can only read this, you know. So I realized even me, there's an element of me who does a little bit of that. Not like you can only read the King James, but I am quite picky, which you should be. Shouldn't just read just anyone. But as I said to you guys as well, it's like God can use anything. So, you know what I mean? And a lot of the differences, I'll be very honest, in terms of salvation, in my opinion, are not going to make a big deal. In fact, what will make a big deal, and this is why I've really been trying to expand my repertoire, is like I was saying with Kai Cenat, which I'll talk about him separately, but him and Quentin Blackwell had a conversation on his stream once, because I actually watched this stuff, so I actually know what's happening in my generation. Because that's another thing. A lot of the traditions, they're just things we were just told to do as kids, because all of us generations who are alive today, excluding maybe Gen Alpha, come from the generation where the generation before us just expected us to do things and never explained why. You know what I mean? They never gave the substance. So we're all just blind followers at this point in time. Like yesterday on TikTok, there was this lady, I think she's Kenyan, if I'm not mistaken. And she was explaining to her son, because she'd given him some food and he didn't want to eat it. There was like green vegetables and whatever. And she sat there and I was like, this is what I'm freaking talking about. This is parenthood, right? She sat there and she goes, now, darling, there's 3 different types of situations in which I'm going to make you food. Sometimes I'm going to make you something that you like. Sometimes I'm going to make you something that's good for you. And sometimes I'm going to just use what's left over in the house. So right now I'm giving you something that's good for you. And she's getting him to articulate it back to her. She's explaining the why. And this is so important, you guys, because so much of us not having a why is why we're not doing the job, right? Because I know so many Christians are like, and this is why I said pride is like the perfect anchor for so many demons, are so obsessed with you have to keep the King James. But at the very same time, those Christians who barely even talk about their Christian life in their normal day-to-day, those Christians that are barely lending a hand, that are barely doing anything for the kingdom, but feeling prideful about the King James Version. On the other hand, I'm here seeing Kai Cenat and Quinn talking about how they both try to read the Bible, but they don't understand the language. Do you think that God cares more about kissing your freaking prideful ass, right? For the sake of, oh, I stick with the King James, but I don't even know why, right? Or do you think he's like, I wish there was somebody or there were some people who would share my truth to this generation? Because this is why I'm so frustrated on behalf of Kai Cenat, because now Hollywood's gobbling you up. We're going to talk about that in a separate video. So this is what I'm saying, why I really felt like, you know what? I feel like me and my Bible, we almost formed a trauma bond, because I just associate it with my tears. All the highlighted scriptures are just scriptures that come from places of pain. And also, I'm very used to the language. So it's like, I need to elevate myself. I need to upgrade. I need to expand myself. Maybe hearing the same scriptures in a different language. Because let's not forget, I feel like the Bible, everything in the Bible, it's like, it's so multi-dimensional that there's so many levels and layers to all these scriptures that you can take away from it. That's where, you know, again, language is it is a problem for us. Language is a problem for us because, again, like I've said to you guys before, the English language is one of the most annoying languages ever, because every word just seems to have a billion connotations of what that word means depending on who you're talking to and depending on that person's life experiences. So when we're having conversations, I've realized saying that I said what I meant or I was clear in my language is not something I get to decide, because I'm always talking to somebody in different places around the world, if it's on like here, but even in real life, that understand language in a completely different way. And I can use a certain word and how that word or even term, especially with modern day age, like I said to you guys, I would refer to myself as a city girl, right? As in like, I love being in the city, but the term city girl is now a term. that doesn't mean what I mean it to be. Does that make sense? But even then, it's like you just can't keep up with it. And so I think that, again, who are we to choose and pick and stay in one particular lane when it comes to things like the scriptures as well, when it's all going to also, and again, God is so great that he's like, listen, whatever you guys need, it's there, and your whatever's you guys, the mistakes you're going to make are going to be there, but all of this was all accounted for. Thank you, Jesus. Praise Jesus, right? Having said all of that, so I was like, I feel like I should read a new Bible. I need a new Bible. There's another Bible I really want, but if ironically, they're currently still translating it, if you can only imagine. That's the Bible I really want. But I wanted to just, reignite my my love for reading the Bible, because I'll be honest, I got sick of just how easy it was for me to be like, oh, I'm going to go to such and such and such and such and just flick the page and know what I was going to see, where I was going to see it. And like, I need something to like bring life back to my Bible reading, and also new perspective, hence getting a new Bible. And also just something that's like a blank slate. There's no notes from me in here. There's no highlights. There's no like, bits where things are smudged because I was crying. It's just a fresh start. You know what I mean? A fresh start. And so, whilst I wait on the Lord to get me to the fresh start that I really want to go to, I can take this time to actually, explore his word in a new way and go back to all my same favorite Bible verses and just see, what they have to say. Like, what do they say? How is this going to expand my relationship with God? So I guess my suggestion to you guys is, I suggest you do something similar, like find ways within your relationship with God. I don't know where you guys are at or whatever, where you can bring something to elevate you somewhere else. I'm very comfortable with the language in the previous Bible that I had, or my previous main Bible, I should say, but because I have a few Bibles, but although one of them is technically lost, I got this. There was this. Can you guys imagine how crazy this is? There was a bookstore up the road from where one of the flats I used to have in London, and I never went in there. It was a Christian bookstore. I don't think I realized it was. The day I walk in there, so I decided to go and buy it. In there, they had these keyring Bibles, literally this big, that can fit on your keys. Loved. The only thing is, they didn't have the full Bible in it. It was like full Bible. It lied on the packaging, which is a bit, again, like, what are we doing here? But anyway, how crazy is this? I got this little thing. I have it somewhere. I can't be bothered to get it. It's like a calendar thing where there's like a Bible verse on it. And I think the Lord is my strength, or one of the classic Christian favorites, right? Which we're going to come back to that concept in just a second. And the date was the day before my birthday, and the date on the thing, and it was like pre-packaged. So, and it had like the clear film around it, so you couldn't move it. What happened to be the same date that I was in there, the day before my birthday, which was absolutely insane. And I was like, I have to get this. So I do have it. Have I ever used it for the date, to keep track of the date? Absolutely not. Maybe one day I'll keep it for something one day. But yeah, anyways, going back to what I was about to say about, what was I about to say about something? Hold on, let me just backtrack my thoughts here. Anyways, I can't remember, guys. So nevertheless, the important point here is that, I also, funny story about why I always record here. There's a reason for that as well. The reason I always record in this exact spot is because it's just a plain white wall. And I always thought of it like, I don't want to have to, when I go back and watch my videos in the future of like this time of my life, I don't want to be reminded of anything about how this place looks. That's actually exactly why I always film in this position, like this, right here. Because like white wall, there's nothing, it could be anywhere. And it gives me so much peace. Even when I'm like recording, there's no reminders of the things that annoy me in my viewpoint. And I can look back and not have to connect it all together. Anyways, so I'm going to wrap this one up here and just say that, prepare yourselves for the things that you're asking God for, and prepare yourselves and take stock, because I realized that it wasn't that me reading my other Bible was getting boring as such, but I was just too used to it. I was too much in a groove, and not in a good way. In a way where it was like, I want to go back to when, I'm like, I just want to go back to the feeling so much like I'm discovering something new again, which all of that's still going to be there, but then it's going to be there in a bigger way, in a newer way, in a like higher level way. And I'm really praying, that that's going to help, change some things, because I just been feeling for a while like I need a new Bible. I need like a blank slate, one where I haven't written all my notes, one where, that isn't birthed in the girl that I was when I purchased that Bible, who was just hopeful and trying her very best and feeling like nothing I was doing was good enough. I was deeply depressed. I was only trusting in God above all else. I was heavily ignorant with all the wrong people in my life. And I'm only just getting to the point where I've moved away from her. Like literally this month, probably, I would say is about the time where I'm like, you know what? This is the first time I feel like I think I've actually done it now. Like I've removed the various snakes from the garden, and any snakes that have not been removed shall be removed. And when I reach the final stage of this passaging out, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I had to say. I just wanted to share that news with you guys because I'm excited. It's going to be fun because now you guys are going to see me. I still know the scriptures. I still kind of know where things are, obviously, because it's the same thing pretty much. But it's going to be interesting to hear a slightly different take on things and just see where the Lord takes us, And again, I always think of it like this, you guys, and I'll finish with this, that I think it's most important for us to always trust God in everything we're doing and allow him to be the one to make sure that whatever we're doing is good enough for what it's supposed to be. And so what I mean by that is we're not always all going to make the right decisions. I think that's where the pride of thinking, oh yeah, I know this. Oh, this is how we do this. Oh, this is what we always did. Oh, purgatory this. Or in Catholicism, the 7 sacraments that they're so obsessed with, right? All this stuff. Just because you grew up that way, or even calling the God, the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit, calling them the Trinity. Like there's just so many things, like us having church on a Sunday, us having church in the way that we do. Like there's so many things I think we need to do completely differently. Like I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, I think they need to flip the church service. Like as in, I think that praise and worship should come after the message. I think you should deliver a strong enough message so that if somebody's a newbie, they can come into church, they can still hear the word. If they don't feel comfortable being around for praise and worship, they can leave. Also, if people want to stay longer for praise and worship, because nothing I hate more than praise and worship and then it's just wrapping up like abruptly. I actually hate that. So this is why I don't even really get into my praise and worship in church anyway, because it's like, they're going to do the 3 this songs and the 3 that songs and then it's done. This attitude towards children and like how they're treated as a nuisance. Excuse me, I think sometimes those kids could have better to say on those stages than a lot of these adults, matter of fact. Third of all, I think we need to normalize more of just doing things more like how I would see, like, people having services in very unconventional ways, as in like not somebody walking around on stage in a suit in whatever. I mean like having a picnic and like everybody coming together and us still having a message, but people sitting around. Because I do think there's an element, in my humble opinion, of leaders loving to have this distance between I'm the leader, I walk out on stage, you come, you're just in the crowd, where they don't really have to get put to the test. That's where I'm so grateful to have started social media when I did, and to live the life I have, because I think I've experienced a lot more direct actual questioning and had to endure it and had to answer for myself a lot more than a lot of other people have, who put that gap between them and the people. Because a lot of people be like, oh my gosh, I've been following so-and-so's teachings for the past 30 years, our whole family's been going to this church. I'm like, but does this person know any name of any one of those people in your family, in your community? Do they know any of the names of all these so-called generations? I think that's a big problem. I think discipleship is lacking, and I believe that's because it's people that don't know how to disciple, because they've not even been discipled themselves, and they actually don't care about discipleship either, because it's not helping. It's not adding to what they are trying to achieve in the first place. So I just think, find ways to, bring a new lease of life to your relationship with God, bring something new to the table. Because I felt like that Bible, I would always like hold it as if like I was a child holding my teddy bear that made me feel safe, while I would like listen to my parents arguing, which my parents never argued, by the way. But I'm just giving you an analogy. Like they never argued in front of us anyway, except from one time. It's the only time, and I was quite young at the time. Other than that, I've never seen them argue in front of me. So just to say that before, because I know as soon as you say anything, everyone thinks you're talking on your own traumas. And actually, I try to avoid talking about the things that others have done around me, because I know how the world is. And rather than focusing on the point of what I'm trying to say, people focus on, just like what's happening right now with Brooklyn Beckham, which is going to be another thing I'm going to be talking about today, because you guys know I've got a lot to say about that. But that's how I used to feel with my Bible. Like it would be like my safety blanket of like the thing I hold on to while I'm like scared And I'm trying to move away from that type of personality. Like, I'm trying to not be so, like, I'm trying to learn to spread my wings. That's the best way I can describe it. And so I just need to I need to remove everything. Like, I have to get a new passport. I have to renew my passport this year. And I can't lie, guys, there's a lot of things I plan to do this year. If I plan to get my tubes tied for my 29th birthday, when my passport comes in, when I have to get it, I plan on changing my name entirely, first and surname. I'm literally deleting the past. Like, you know, like how you like drag and like if you're like looking at files like on your computer and then you like click and you drag to like select a bunch of things. That's me, and my past is I'm clicking, dragging, delete. And the grand finale will be changing my phone number once again. I just got to let it go, because going back to what I was saying about Italy, that's what I wanted to say. The message that was there last year was, you just need to not look behind you at this point. Because if you look behind, there's people that want to keep looking behind. There's you who's going to get, discouraged by looking behind. You just need to go forward and just keep going forward, because even though, you can't change the past, other people always hold your past against you and all this stuff. God wants you to just face forward and just go forward. And he was talking a lot about that thing and about David specifically, which again, I was like, how is he talking about David? Meanwhile, I'm here doing the David series as well at the same time. Was it the same time? I feel like it was. I'm like, how is this happening? And that's what he was saying, is like, you just have to be the one person that just stays looking forward and stays going forward and just trust what God is doing with you. You know what I mean? And just look forward, just stop looking back. And, sometimes the message, the things and the changes, the things we need from God isn't some big things that we're thinking of. Sometimes we over spiritualize it, because what people do in the church, give all this money and God's going to do a miracle, do all of this. And sometimes God's advice is really simple. So I say God is really good at knowing how to deal with us like his children and giving us clear and simple advice. Which is that, look, if you keep looking back, there's people who are already going to keep trying to look back for you. As again, as you progress, I have heard this said a few times, and it really dawned on me that this is so true, that for a lot of us, especially if you're going to be like significantly successful in life in any kind of way, which there's so many different kinds of success, people that have known you before you get to that part, there's a part of them that even where some of them intentionally try to never forget who you were as a way to kind of like crabs in the bucket, like keep you down, or to to discourage you, which I've experienced that. But also, and this is what I've more been thinking about, is there's also the part of them that because they were just there and they did just experience you at a less perfect, a less better version of yourself, they just will never really truly appreciate the better version of you, because that's just always going to be there. And that's not completely to blame, because that is a previous version of you. And, so I've been thinking about that. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I haven't dived in headfirst into like any of my new relationships that I've formed in the last year or so. I've not really like delved in, because I'm like, I don't want to delve in as like, this is what I started to think. I never talked about this, but, I realized in 2023 that like, I'm not the woman that I want to be for the people that like, for the opportunities that are in front of me. Like, I'm not yet the woman who I want to be. And this is why I've been really aggressively shifting into who I truly believe that I am, and just like changing how I speak about things, and why I've been coming out and have been a bit more, because these are all how I naturally am. And a lot of changes about me have happened in the last couple of years in particular, because I'm like, I realized that, I have all these opportunities. There's all these great people. I don't want to engage with these things, these opportunities, these people, these whatevers, when I'm not yet the better version of myself, because I don't want that to be how we start out. I don't want them to have that version of me, of some things that are still there, as a part of our relationship. And the only times when I haven't cared in the last few years is when I already knew there was a timer on the relationship, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, I know that this relationship isn't for the long haul. And just because you just know, like discernment and whatever. But I realized, and it was up to me. It was actually my choice that I made within my own free will. God didn't tell me that. I chose that because I realized that sometimes there's too much water under the bridge. Like last night I dreamt of two of my old housemates. And you guys know I cry all the time. I hate seeing them in my dreams, and I see them because I miss them so much. They were literally like, I loved living in that house with them, and it was chaotic. There's always people coming in and out of the house and whatever. But can I tell you, I've never felt so safe in a home in my life. me and my housemates, and those girls were just like some of the best friends I ever had. And we had a mixed reasons why our friendship came to an end, of which some of them was my problem, some of it was their problems. And they were more just like festered problems that reached a height where everything clashed at the wrong time, as if it was the perfect storm. And that's why we were kind of cool afterwards, but we all just knew it was just never going to be the same again, because it was just like, we were fine. It wasn't anything, we didn't go for any specifics. And again, I'm not sharing because it would be really obvious for people to figure out who these two were, because there's stuff of us everywhere. Like, let's be so freaking for real. And also they both have careers in one of them, she's really working in the industry. She's been judging, she's been performing, competing all over the world. And the other one, she's also working within the competition sphere. So there's just no need to share out their business, if that makes sense, or my business or anyone's business. And there's no way for me to share what I did without sharing everything. So we're just not going to talk about it, right? And we did end on amicable terms, but not we're not like where we were all going to be besties and going and hanging out and sitting on the ground, eating tiramisu, catching up on the week and dancing along to random songs at 2 a.m, or me coming home and they're randomly dressed up as Playboy bunnies for absolutely no reason at all. Or us all cooking in this tiny kitchen together at the same time seamlessly, when other people have big, gorgeous kitchens. And, you see families and couples who can't even stand to be with each other in the thing. And we're just here in this tiny little square, it was tiny little square kitchen. And we'd be cooking 3 different meals and everything was just seamless. And it was so nice, such a nice time. And then obviously we were all doing dance and cheer together. One of them was doing either and I was doing both. So that was fun. And yeah, and I missed them. And I think, one of the things I took away from that relationship and how things ended is how much that when certain things have happened, there's just no real recovering in some relationships. And that's why I believe, God says, sexual immorality is a reason for divorce, because it's like, there's certain things that once those things have taken place, it's not that anybody's not forgiven anybody. It's that whatever was built, everything that was built up, it took time to get there. You know what I mean? It took time to get there. And so for you're not just going to have certain situations take place and it's not going to affect what was built, because a lot went into what was built. You know what I mean? And so I'm deeply conscious of that now, that I want to be the healedest, deliveredest, healthiest version of myself for whatever the Lord has in store for me, because I don't want to go and ruin it. And like I've said, this is what the devil loves to do. God likes to take us through the wilderness so that he can cleanse us of everything, Egypt, everything of the world, everything that's not good for us, all of the healing, whatever we need. The devil wants to put us on a pedestal as soon as possible, because then when the inevitable happens is that we destroy everything by ourselves, everybody's going to come down with us. And that's why we see that there's always severely evil things happening with the most rich and powerful, famous people, because that's how the devil wants it to be. Because then what use is me coming crashing down when I'm just here doing my thing? Arguably, at least I'm a teacher, so it would at least have a significant impact of a number of folks, you know what I mean? But if you're really famous celebrity or really famous, mega pastor, right? Mega church pastor, whatever. When you come crashing down, it's not just you who's where there's destruction. It's everybody who believes in you, everybody who was touched by your message, everybody who saw you as some kind of a role model. It's all those people as well. And that's exactly what the devil wants, and I believe that's why God is trying to give us some time to strengthen our individual relationships with him, so that when these people come crashing down around the world, we are not just swayed away, because that's my biggest fear as well. One of my biggest fears with the body of Christ is that when people wake up and find out the truth about some of their leaders, I think this is why God is trying to delay a lot of things that are happening, to give people as much time as possible. I think a lot of people are going to end up walking, because the Bible says that there's going to be the great falling away. A lot of people are going to walk away from Christ. And I believe it's going to be because of that, because people have made other human beings their idols, and people who put themselves in positions without allowing the work that needed to be done. The work's never over. We're never perfectly ready. That's part of faith, is that God is the one who's figured out if what level you're at is good enough. It's not for us. It's not for me to decide wherever anybody is good enough for what God uses them for, because that's where they are. You know what I'm saying? And this circles me back to the Kai Cenat thing, which is going to be my next video because I keep referencing it. But how, while we're out here saying, oh, the King James, he's the one who's actually got the platform. It's so sad that of all the supposed Christians, folks watching or those around him, not a single one was prepared to just meet him where he was at and believe that possibly, because, you know, people be so quick to be like, yeah, everybody talks about Jesus, everybody talks about God, but like no one's really serious. It's like, but who's stepping in? Who's stepping in to do the job properly? Who's stepping in to meet people where they're at? Because that's what God does. Who's stepping in to use what people have, you know? And it's a very biblical thing. God always like, what do you have in your hand? So he says to Moses, what do you have in your hand? He has a rod. This rod turns into a snake. Bro turned into a full-blown, you know, expert in spiritual things, right? You know what I mean? Right then and there. And God's like, what's in your hand? You know, same with David. What's in your hand? He's like, he's got a slingshot, right? Which other people like, do you know how long I spent sharpening my swords? You know what I mean? His brothers are probably all there doing that earlier that day of the Bravado Olympics, talking about how probably betting on who could slay more Philistines. And bro came in with a slingshot. Do you see what I'm saying? Bro came in with a slingshot. So I just want to say that to you all, that like, you know, I don't know, me and God's relationship is just maturing at a really rapid pace at the minute. And I think it's largely because the more I grow and the more I grow closer to him, the more I just feel like, wow, I really need to just humble myself as much as possible and just recognize my limitations as a human, and that I just need to shut up and listen to the Lord directly. And that we all do. And we need to let go of traditions. We need to let go of religion. We need to let it go, because these things are like chains bounding us to these things of the past. And my simple question for anybody who's bothered by what I've just said is, look at the state of the world, look at the state of the church, right? How exactly has all these things we've been doing benefited us? Because as far as I can see, doesn't look good. It's not looking good. We're not a powerful force. We're just as struggling just the same way as the world. We're worried about the same old things just like the world is. We're subject to the same slaveries of the world just the same. Our lives look no different. No one would know that we serve a different God, because we're all there worshipping those gods as well, whether we realize it or not, calling ourselves Christians, calling ourselves this. So that's why I'm like, clearly something's not working. This is why people are like, oh, we wonder why is Gen Z buying Bibles? Like, because we're the generation where we need a miracle. Because that's the world we were born into, because we were born in the wilderness. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Lots of videos to come. Stay tuned, because I've got a lot to say about things happening. And I know you guys love a little bit when I talk about what's happening in the world and my thoughts and opinions. And I've kind of let a lot of them stew. And you know it's going to be good when I let it stew, because then that means I've really thought about it. Anyways, you guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.